year, because he's meant to have years. His floor form has been his bread and butter and has sometimes not been at his best on the stage. Well, he's saved his best for the European Tour so far this year, and all that's really missing is a place in the final and a title for Joe Cullen. Rob Malarkey, could this weekend perhaps be the time that he does it?
Yeah, well, we keep on saying it, don't we, about Joe Cullen, about the next potential first-time winner on the European Tour.
Joe to throw first. Game on.
But you're absolutely right, Chris. I mean, Joe Cullen has reserved, or by and large has reserved, his best stuff for the European stage so far in 2018. Just the 2 quarter-finals on the Pro Tour in the Players' Championship events in the UK Open qualifiers this year. And it's worth noting as well that one of his first round defeats on the Pro Tour was at the hands of Madars Razma when they met in Barnsley in the first weekend of April, the Latvian winning that one 6-2. So bitterly disappointed and angry after his defeat by Nicholson in the 3rd round in Gibraltar. Again, Gibraltar started really well. Terrific average against Labanauskas, almost 108 in that one. Fairly efficient on his checkouts as well. And also going very close in Austria too, where he made the semi-finals, lost 7-6 to Gerwyn Price in the semi-final in Graz. So he's knocking on the door, I think, is Joe Cullen.
I think there's that much darts at the moment that you've just got to shrug those defeats off, haven't you? And
well, that's it. I mean, the opportunities come round thick and fast to move on and put the last tournament behind you. And Joe Cullen did that to an extent last weekend as well. The disappointment of Gibraltar, he bounced back. He made the last 16 of one of the Pro Tour events, the first of those Pro Tour events last weekend in Wigan. Lost to Jermaine Wassermaner 6-1 in the last 16 of that one. And Wassermaner, of course, a man who made back-to-back semi-finals last weekend, so you can put that into some sort of perspective, but the perspective here looking very promising for Joe Cullen. Great chance for a break of throat.
Many people think that the most important aspect of this game is timing, and that 180, the second in as many legs, was sublimely timed by Joe Cullen. But he hasn't managed to follow it up by taking out the 79, so a chance for Razma to level.
Yeah, Cullen there just gesticulating that his darts dipped there, but Razma looking at double 16. Now Razma's finishing yesterday was pretty hot as well. It tailed off a little bit as he took control of that match against Desvan, but 6 from 16 on his checkouts yesterday. He had a 130 finish as well.
78.
He was quick to point out, Madars Razma, that while he enjoyed that performance, putting in a superb display, the best display of the day on that stage, that he wasn't about to get carried away with it.
140.
Just one match. His analysis of that, and needs to follow it up and produce the goods against one of the top players, a number 7 seed, Joe Cullen. Won a couple of PDC titles last year, and that's what he was saying about his floor form. Both of those titles came in Players' Championship events. He hasn't really been in with a sniff on the floor this year. The closest he got on the European Tour was that Austrian Darts Open semi-final against Gerwyn Price, where he kind of collapsed in the last leg. Although so did Gerwyn, to be fair.
140.
Yeah, Gerwyn Price will see him later this afternoon. In fact, he's in the next match on stage against Jelle Klaassen. Gerwyn Price is the favourite to win that one, but maybe signs of life for Jelle Klaassen. He had to work hard yesterday against Mickey Mansell. Anyway, back to the here and now. Joe Cullen.
Well, he came racing out of the blocks, didn't he? But Razma here has half a dozen darts to break.
Yeah, he's just been stopped in his tracks ever so slightly here as Joe. Razma just finding a bit of rhythm now and an
89
opportunity.
Yeah, just opted not to go for the bullseye, the sensible shot. But Cullen is going to apply some pressure here.
140.
Yeah, Cullen waiting in the wings on double 16 as well if Razma fails to find double 16 himself, but this is for a break of throw. and Razma leads by 2 legs to 1. The first Latvian to hold a tour card, a man who made his European Tour debut at last year's European Trophy. He lost in the first round to James Wilson, you may recall, but he went into that tournament on the back of a first Pro Tour semi-final at the 20th Players' Championship event in Dublin, where he beat Chris Dobie, Terry Temple, Keegan Brown, Ronnie Hybrex and Gerwin Price in what was his best run in his debut season as a PDC Tour card holder. Currently 89th in the order of merit, so he's obviously got work to do to force his way into the top 64. Qualified by virtue of his status as the highest ranked Nordic and Baltic player on the order of merit, so he didn't have to come through any rounds of qualifying for this, and he's looking to make the most of this opportunity as well. He's got the break, he leads 2-1, and he's potentially looking at a big score here as well.
139.
Once again, it's high quality stuff
100
from Razma.
You require 147.
And once again, he's got 6 darts to finish because Cullen hasn't left one.
Yeah, it's just dried up a little bit for Joe Cullen. Started very, very emphatically, but hasn't really been able to build on that.
64.
Well, that's okay for Razma.
Yeah, can Cullen do what he did in the previous leg and apply some pressure? 140 would do just that.
100. Madars, you require 83.
Pick him from this position.
Treble 17. Yeah, that's where he went.
Treble 16 now. Now Bull.
Oh. Well, by hook or by crook, he takes it out.
To throw first.
And even though he was unsuccessful with his gunning for the treble, the bullseye came to the rescue, and the 180s come to the rescue for Joe Cullen.
Yeah, it's hotting up, really is. Really high quality stuff here.
97.
Both players producing the goods. Averages of over a ton there, you see. Cullen, the 108 and change defied by the Latvian Madars Razma, who is carrying on where he left off 24 hours ago.
Yeah, that first 9 average, as I said at the start, was 126 yesterday, and we said he had to produce something similar to give himself a fighting chance here, and he's not quite at those levels of yesterday, but it is enough at the moment. But you suspect that Cullen may well come good again, and perhaps will come good again.
Well, if he stays where he is, you would fancy that Razma might drop off, and even if Razma stays where he is, Cullen is going to get more and more chances. It's about doing it against the throw, isn't it? Having been broken already, though.
98.
That might just be a token maximum.
Yeah, he split that as well for double 16.
82.
With Razma on 182 as well. He didn't want to jeopardise himself by going for the 19s. More pressure could be applied here, though, by Madars.
Needs a treble, really.
47.
And that may well be that as far as this leg is concerned, because Joe Cullen has a bit of room for manoeuvre here, and double ace is found for 3-2, but we're still in a situation where Cullen needs to find a break.
Madars to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, just the one, though, having had the darts at the start of the match. Here we'll see that if he can put in the kind of leg he did in the previous leg against a throw, and that's how the match will turn in Joe Cullen's favour. Although Razma has faltered at the start, and Cullen is going to fill his boots.
120.
Not as full as he would have liked, with points on the floor. Well,
51.
the switch to 18s was detrimental.
This one's really getting the crowd going as well, isn't it? Because we saw that yesterday. Which player was it yesterday? Adrian Lewis, wasn't it? He had a bounce out and then a Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Back to back. Joe Cullen's turn today. Now, would Joe Cullen be on a 9-darter now?
The moral 9-darter. Well, he hit a 9-darter recently, didn't he? It was last year in one of the Players' Championship.
Yeah, streamed
tournaments.
live on PDC TV. We haven't had any 9-darter broadcast on any PDC darts this year so far.
Yeah, that was Cullen's first competitive 9-dart finish. I think it was against Jim Brown.
It was, yeah.
In Barnsley, yeah.
140. You require 121.
The quality is there in this match. The pace is superb too.
It is. It's got a nice tempo and a nice rhythm to it as well. And it's a match that I think will turn again here. I think there's life in Joe Cullen.
Well, the break chance has already arrived, hasn't it? Because he's poised on double 16 with Razma in a different postcode.
41. You require 32.
And Joe Cullen levels things up at 3 apiece. We had 6 matches to go the distance yesterday. We had a very lengthy encounter to start things off between Dolan and Henderson, and this one is threatening to go to 11 legs. And who knows, Chris, we could be in for another near midnight finish, as was the case last night.
Looking at the afternoon session, I can't see any of the games taking too long, to be honest, for the rest of the afternoon. I think we'd be hard pushed to see as late a finish as we did yesterday, because this evening as well we've got quite a few quick fire players in action,
including Ricky Evans, the fastest of the lot, against Darrell Gurney.
Joe Cullen, a former postman.
89.
As is Peter Jakes, who's on stage in the final match of the afternoon against Stephen Bunting. What is it about postmen being good at darts? Remember Van Barneveld, the most famous. Well, Cullen delivers there.
It's the all-round package for Joe Cullen. And Joe Cullen is looking to secure a third leg on the bounce here. He was 3-1 down, but he is on the verge now of going 4-3 in front.
Well, it's $1 million performance again from Joe Cullen, isn't it?
Well, look at this. Tops.
50.
Astronomical average. Looking at tops again here for a 13-darter.
180.
Well, Madars Razma hit 3 180s yesterday. Joe Cullen has weighed in with 4.
Madars do throw first. Game on.
A couple in this match from Madars, and they've kind of both been wasted, haven't they?
They've not come at good times for him.
90.
The numbers are fantastic for Joe Cullen. 106. 109, in fact, Joe Cullen's average.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Like I said, Labanauskas, his victim in Gibraltar, was on the receiving end of a pounding of scoring by Joe Cullen. It was very, very intensive scoring in the first round, or in his first match in Gibraltar. And it's a similar standard today as well. Despite the fact in legs 2 and 3 he went really off the boil, didn't he, when Razma was in the ascendancy.
Yeah, but look at that, the first leg. Hit a dozen darts and then a hat-trick of 13 darters.
Terrific atmosphere inside the Brombuhalle this afternoon. It's a very, very significant turnout as well. The Danes are out in force for this one. They've really embraced this tournament. They were queuing up patiently outside when we arrived this morning at around about 11 o'clock or so, and they're thoroughly wrapped up in this one.
All it's missed is a huge checkout.
84.
Someone doesn't have to check it out.
67.
But he may well do, just to give himself a bit more fire in his belly. But safety first from Joe Cullen, just setting that one up. He's been effective on double 16.
But he's trying to continue that run of 13 dart legs. It would be 4 on the spin if he pins this first dart.
105. Joey requires 32. Into the 8th leg, Joe.
Very, very neat and tidy now from Joe Cullen.
9th leg, Joe.
A 4th successive 13 dart leg.
Unlucky for some, unlucky for Madars Razma. Top performer yesterday,
96.
beaten by potentially already the top performer today.
Well, it will be going something to beat Joe Cullen's current average if he can maintain this.
97.
Dipped ever so slightly after that opening visit of 96.
57.
There you see, approaching 109, just over 108 right now, and it's blown what his opponent produced yesterday out of the water.
56.
Yeah, Razma looking a beaten man here. Seems to be running out of big scores and running out of ideas and just finding himself really under the cosh. It's relentless from Joe Cullen. Okay, he started off fairly sluggishly in this current leg, but he's picked up there once again. A 1-2-8 check out in the opener for a 12-dart leg just to set the tone. Razma came back with 3 legs on the bounce, but
99.
It's been one-way traffic since then.
And it will be James Wade or Rusty Jake Rodriguez who appear on that stage later this afternoon 54. For the winner. And it's looking every inch like Joe Cullen will be that man.
Well, he's had visits of 96, 57, 54, but he could really just finish with a flourish here, but maybe not. And there we go.
124 to stay alive for Razma.
Madars you require 124.
I'll hit the ball once in this match. And get a dart at least that target. It is that target. But this time he can't find it.
You require 80.
Well, that was a missed opportunity for Razma, but it's double 10 for Joe Cullen for a 6-3 win, and Joe Cullen wraps up a very, very eye-catching performance indeed, with 5 legs on the bounce to complete a 6-3 victory. Was in a spot of bother when he found himself 3-1 down. The average just dipping in the final leg with those visits of 57 and 54, but make no mistake, that was a very, very good performance by Joe Cullen. An average of 105.99. Very good on the finishing as well, particularly on double 16. And Joe Cullen has come through what was, on paper, before the start of play, a potentially very testing encounter. Madars Razma, the star of the show yesterday. Joe Cullen, the star of day 2 so far. We'll hear from Joe with Dan on stage, and a reminder once again, our next match on the way very shortly, featuring Gerwin Price and the yellow class.
Performance there, 106 average, and it was up at 108 for a lot of it. I mean, it was 13 darter, 13 darter, 13 darter.
No, you can see the surprise on my face. I didn't think it was that high. I thought it was probably maybe 95, 96 maybe, but I thought I hit the decent shots when I had to. Obviously I saw Madars' performance yesterday, so I knew I had to perform, but like I say, 106, 86, as long as you get the W, it doesn't matter.
The Euro Tour is where you've been doing your best stuff so far this year. Brand new venue, new country we're going to, and the crowds turning up in force even the very first year.
Yeah, the Euro Tour saving my year, to be honest. I'm not very good on the Pro Tours, I'm sure you know. But like I said, the Euro Tour, this is where the money is. As you perform here, I'd rather perform here than the Pro Tour, but hopefully I can get both, but I'd ideally have this one.
He's been performing all year. He performed for you today. The rock star Joe Cullen, 105, 106 average. Coming up in just a moment, it's a former world champion yellow class, and against the Welsh #1, Gerwin Price.